The whole purpose why President Woodrow Wilson did these 14 points was to outline a strategy in order to end the war. It was his idea of trying to control everything and to have everything in order for all the countries to be in peace and somewhat be able to work with each other. He had set out specific goals that he wanted to do throughout the whole war. Um, the biggest reason why he was going to do this was because if the United States was going to fight on in Europe soil as well as with other countries, he wanted to make sure that in a way everyone was protected in order to have the less amount of casualties as possible. So I see why he would want to do this and try. It's a good idea, but it's very hard for other countries to follow orders, especially from another country, since every country wants to follow their own rules and maybe doesn't like the idea of another country imposing them rules and that they have to follow, such as the first point was open conveyance of peace, openly minded at dot dot dot, always frankly in a public view. I'm gonna just give you the short points so I don't have to say it all. Basically, meaning that no more secret agreements between countries and diplomacy should open the world. Yes, it's a good idea. I do believe it would be such a better place if countries didn't have secrets in between each other, but we all know that's not possible because a country is always going to have a secret as a backup plan in order to do something as a part of revenge or as a part to have one step up than the other country. So that's not really possible. The second point was, well, the idea was international seas shall be free to navigate during peace and war. I also find that very difficult because if you're right next to a sea or you claim that you have control over it or you put ships and block the entrance to it, they're not gonna let you through even if you want to. And if that country has a big dispute with you, there's no way on earth that they're gonna let you pass by in order for you to pass weapons or whatever, or soldiers to another country that you want to do war with. The third point, they should be free trade between the countries who accept the peace. It's a good idea, but as mentioned, it's very difficult in order to try and convince individuals to do in order to do something. So far, like, I agree with them, but I don't see how people are going to follow these rules if they can't even follow their own rules that they impose for their own country. And the fourth one, there shall be a worldwide reduction in weapons and armies by all countries. Yeah, there's always going to be people building weapons under the law, under their law or not, doing it in secret. They're always trying to find bigger explosions in case of a war in order to defeat the other country. Yes, it's a good idea. They shouldn't have bombs, but it's something that's impossible because individuals are always going to be a step ahead and always going to have the latest technology, are going to find different ways in order to have the best weapon in case of a war. Um, Colonial claims over land and regions will be fair. I think that's something ironic. If when the United States came here, they weren't fair, they kicked out the Indians, and so on, and they expect that to happen right now in later times where people are always competing for land and they're always claiming it. Oh, I was here first, this is mine. So it's very difficult for them to impose something that they haven't done since the beginning. Russia will be allowed to determine its own form of government. All German troops will leave Russian soil. Yeah, I believe that the German troops shouldn't be in the Russian soil and that they should leave. They have their own country, and it's all right for the Russians to choose their own government. So I believe that's all right. But it's other countries that might disagree with that and might want to take control over Russia, and they don't want Russia as an independent state. So far, it's a good idea, and I'm pretty sure Russia's an independent. I mean, not state, country. Um, German troops will evacuate Belgium, and Belgium will be an independent country. Good idea. Very difficult for other individuals to understand, especially countries, since they might want to take power over Belgium. France will regain all territory, including the disputed land of Alsace-Lorraine. I do believe if the territory was taken away from France, they should be able to regain it since it was them and they did take it from them unfairly. So that's a good idea, but as told, people have different opinions and they have different goals and they might want to keep that land even though it wasn't theirs. And just to skip on some of the points and lead to one of the bottom ones is a League of Nations will be formed that protects the independence of all countries no matter how big or small. So the whole deal with these 14 points was that a League of Nations would be made in order to protect the countries, doesn't matter how big or small. Well, my issue is all the countries going to be in the bubble of the League of Nations? Because it's not fair if they're just going to have the biggest countries combined together and then making all of the decisions, even though the whole idea was to support all the countries no matter how big or small. If small countries don't have a voice, then how are they really being protected if they're not being allowed the opportunity in order for them to express their feelings? So overall, I understand why Woodrow Wilson would do these points in order for there to be peace and in order for no more war to occur, so everything could be at peace. But it's not really that useful. He did have good intentions with the 14 points, but as mentioned, it's very hard to change the opinions of other individuals, especially government officials, when they have a set idea and a set purpose that they want to reach for the country. So overall, the 14 points weren't that useful, and as me adding another point, it's really difficult. I would say, oh, no more war, but that's something impossible. I believe there's always going to be a war, either it be like a small one or a big one. It's something that isn't that we are not able to stop, since people are always going to have issues between each others. Thank you.